Welcome to episode 3 of Following Freak Show, a show dedicated to discussing last night's episode of American Horror Story Freak Show. I'm your moderator, Perry Nemiroff, and here are our panelists.
Hi, I'm Alexis Sarala.
Hi, I'm Meg Patterson.
Hi, I'm Sasha Capelli.
You guys sound tired today.
Yeah,
That's like, I guess, the only downside of 90-minute episodes.
I know, 90 minutes.
Alright, so in episode 3, Edward Mordrake Part 1, the freaks don't want to perform on Halloween because of this superstition, but Elsa does it anyway and conjures Edward Mordrake, a guy with a face on the back of his head who has to take one freak with him before he goes, which is essentially killing that freak. So a lot beyond that happened in this episode, but let's just start right there with Mordrake. Sasha, what'd you think of him?
Well, I wanted him to be super creepy, super weird, and when they first started, because Edward Mordrake is actually, I think, a real person. I don't think he has two faces. He just has like a misshapen face. But the legend is that he has two faces, and his behind face is the evil face. So, and as they were explaining him, I was like, so wait, it's just two faces? Okay, cool. Maybe he'll do something crazy when he gets to the freak show, and it'll be scary and weird, and he'll mutilate a freak even more. But basically, it was kind of sad. Like when he finally got to the freak show, he was very sympathetic with Ethel, who was dying anyway. So he doesn't really have much work to do in terms of killing a freak. So he was kind of a sympathetic, sweet character. Like when he sat down with Ethel and they had that conversation, they kind of went into her backstory and saw how beautiful she was and all that stuff like that. And she kind of recounted her tale and how she got to where she was. That was really great. But I'm hoping next week Edward Mordrake Part 2 is going to be the Halloween, oh my gosh, you should not have conjured him up because he's going to stir up some crazy-ish kind of thing. Because right now it was kind of like 25 minutes of Dear Diary. So I felt like this was kind of a sounding board for everyone. Because at first when they talked about the legend, it was scary and weird, and Edward Mordrake was going to hurt you and be scary like Macbeth when you say it in a theater. But it wasn't, or Othello or whatever it is. It wasn't that though. So I liked him, but I wasn't scared of him.
I like that scene between him and Kathy Bates a lot, just from like an acting standpoint. I think it was a very well performed scene, and like I bought that she was scared, and I really liked her in this episode overall.
She was so good.
I think it might have been better off though if they had built up to that, like really made us think that he was gonna kill her. Because it didn't really feel like that. We know that there's a part 2 to this Halloween episode, so it can't be her. And also, you know, the way the scene progressed and the tone of the scene, you kind of knew at the very beginning.
Yeah.
Like, Edward Mordrake wasn't really that bad of a guy.
No,
he was kind of in touch with whatever was growing on the back of his head.
Right, and like, and Ethel kind of wanted to unload all that stuff because she was
definitely
dying. So it was. I mean, Kathy Bates was wonderful because in the beginning of the episode, I even said, "What a strange character for her," because she's so brutish, and Kathy Bates does such a good job of being like brutish yet beautiful. So I'm so glad we got to see her features and how great she looked back in the day, and even when she's crying now because she's going to pass. But Edward Mordrake really was like a therapist.
Well, it makes you wonder if we're going to see everyone else. We're going to see a few more backstories. You know, how long is Edward going to stick around? Is it just for next week, or is he?
I bet you he makes his kill next week.
Yeah,
he's going to take someone.
Yeah.
Much like the Axeman, I think he's going to be another supernatural love interest for our dear Jessica Lange.
Oh, gosh.
I don't know. I thought that too, and you can kind of get that feeling based on Emma Roberts' prediction and all that other stuff that happens when she's singing and she sees him. But I don't know. I feel like she's going to end up looking at everybody as a threat.
Oh yeah.
She's just going to want to kill everybody because at this point she has no friends. She essentially is harming her own freak show yet again by selfishly singing that song. Oh, speaking of that song, are we going to get a song every episode?
I don't want to.
Apparently.
And
I don't know about that.
I don't know why this bothers me so much, and maybe it shouldn't. The anachronism of the music is really getting on my like when she pushes the music out of the way, it says "Criminal" by Fiona Apple.
Yes, it does.
Like that, I don't know why that bothers me. It shouldn't. It's a freak show. Whatever. But like, sing some 50s music or something.
Right.
Some like.
Well, it almost seems like it's trying to be more weird on purpose than it has to be. Like to sing a Lana Del Rey song in the 50s.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The problem
With
is
lyrics
you
that don't even make sense.
You can't do it for us, who are just so well aware. Also, I mean, it's not even like a song that maybe that came out in the 50s. Like, no, it just didn't.
No.
She's talking about Jim Morrison.
I know.
All right, let's move on to topic number 2, and we're going to talk about daddy issues, because American Horror Story overall has a lot of them, and Meg, you're going to take that one.
Yeah, I'm starting to worry maybe the writers have some kind of daddy issues because it's always a problem. I mean, even all the way back to like season 1 and 2, there aren't really a lot of men and dad characters. So we look at Dandy and Gloria, there's no dad. The twins, there's no dad. It was just them and their mom. Jimmy and Ethel, he has a dad, which is Dell, but she asks him, please stay out of the picture as you have been. And then even when we see the moms taking the little girl out trick-or-treating, there's no dad present when they go back to the house and they're drinking. So the biggest one of all of them, I think, though, is probably Elsa. She's kind of like the mother figure, the main mom of all the freaks. There's no dad, and the closest thing they kind of have is Dell, and he's a shitty one at that. So I'm kind of wondering if Dennis O'Hare's character, as he comes in as the doctor, I mean, he's got this, like, freak penis thing going on, so maybe he'll come in as, like, the head man, head honcho, and then they have to make room for that. Mordrake must be killing off Dell is my theory, because tying it back to him, he says something like, oh, Kathy Bates isn't the one, and it looks like they're looking for someone who's some kind of a pure evil, and Dell's probably going to lie, or he's probably going to be, like he'll be some kind of evil. So
yeah, I was wondering about that, because I didn't hear the dialogue when they said it. I rewound it and played it a couple of times. When he says exactly what they're looking for, I heard the term pure freak.
Oh, pure freak.
Pure freak.
Okay.
Pure freak and then something else. But, like, I wouldn't understand why Ethel wouldn't be a pure freak.
Right.
They probably mean freak in that, like, not good to other people also.
Right.
Because the freaks are good to each other amongst themselves, and he's just an asshole, Dell is, so...
Which would actually be very interesting. That's, like, another way to explore the whole what does it mean to be a freak and who is a freak kind of thing. So
right.
Maybe that's a good idea.
If you're willing to exploit other freaks, then isn't, like, that's the most freakish thing, or, or be prejudiced against them.
But does Dell really want to exploit freaks? Because every time that they show him, like, doing something super nasty, 2 minutes later you see Michael Chiklis being like,
yeah. He's always, like, very, like, he's very sad about when he acts out. Like, every time he bursts out in anger, he's always like, oh, I didn't want to do that. Oh, I don't want to do that. It always seems like he doesn't want to play the character he's playing. Like, oh, God, I don't want to do that.
And I love that Angela Bassett is, like, not going to let him push her around either.
Yeah, that was good.
I feel like she's got something else going on.
Like,
like another power almost, besides that we haven't tapped into. I mean, I guess they kind of hinted at something else, like maybe some sort of control over men, but she had something on Dell.
Yeah,
I think he was not happy when he got pushed away.
I think we need more of her. Like, she's such a great character. We've only glimpsed her so far.
She'll get it. That's like another thing with this show that's kind of crazy, is like thinking back to what we saw last night, I can't believe how much they included on each character. While introducing 2 new ones.
Overall, I always worry, like, especially now at this point in the season, they just introduced the 2 new ones. It's going to be great. Like, we have so many plot lines, as always.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm always just like, oh, do they know what they're doing? They're just throwing things against the wall at this point, and like, they're like, oh, it'd be cool if we had, Dennis O'Hare with a giant penis.
Right.
Is that what he really has?
Yeah,
well, that's true.
I mean, that's what they definitely imply, but
it was like
I guess because I have Edward Mordrake in my head, I'm like, picture a face down there, or just something.
I like that.
Yeah, it was
terrifying.
It was like lighting up, like the way, like does he have like a light bulb? Whatever it is down there.
Also, because Thor's reaction wasn't. I'm calling him Thor. His reaction wasn't really like reading, holy shit, that's a big penis you got. It's like, Jesus Christ, what the fuck is that?
That's true.
Right.
Well, it's also interesting that he, he's a fake doctor, and Bet or not, whichever one is now evil, apparently, is good at seeking out a doctor who will be willing to separate them. So I think
I feel like Dot got too evil too fast.
Oh,
yeah, exactly. It was a total character 180.
It really was. Like, Dot was, like, kind of on the fence, and then all of a sudden she was like, I want you gone. Like, there was no kind of transformation. That bothered me.
And she wants to be a star now? I don't know.
How sad is that? Like, for Bet to be attached to someone who wants to kill you 24/7.
I know. It's got to be a little awkward.
The heads up from the dreams, so she'll always know. I wonder if they just know what each... Yeah, they had the telepathy. What happened to the telepathy thing?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
They dream the same. Yeah.
They dream the same. They haven't, like, been chatting it up at all, though.
No, and that was cool.
I thought it was going to happen.
Yeah, I loved when they were chatting it up. And, like, when we got to see the different perspectives, they dropped that completely because they can't really even use it anymore because they're introducing so much stuff that would be just...
There was a little bit of it during that dream sequence when, like, the shots were, like, sliding over one after the other.
Right.
There were the different perspectives there, but, like, they seemed to just be doing the singles on each head off to the side.
Yeah,
I don't know how much longer that'll last.
Yeah.
Then again, knowing American Horror Story, it will last the entire season.
Right.
All right, let's move on to topic number 3. And I believe all of you might have mentioned it to a degree in your emails, but the episode is a little boring and or sad. So, Alexis, do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, it almost seemed like nothing really happened. Like, there were all these hints of things. Like, I guess, there were a few big things, like the Edward Mordrake appearing, but as we already talked about, he didn't do anything. And then we had the clown. I thought he was going to kill those ladies, and instead he just took the teenage boy, which I thought was an interesting choice. Seemed like he would have taken the girl.
Right.
We had all these instances of, like, something's almost going to happen, and then nothing. And we also had this really melancholic mood to the whole episode with, like, I love the Kathy Bates moment. Her with the doctor was a great scene, too. Like, the only doctor that had ever shown her respect also is unfortunately giving her this death sentence. I mean, there were some very sweet there was these nice melancholy moments, but it wasn't a horror story for any,
We still got Jimmy moping around, too. And, like, even Elsa, it's not like she's angry at everybody and wants to be a star. She's, like, really sad about it.
Yeah, everything was like a bummer last night.
I do feel like this is just building up to part 2, though. I mean, the second you say we have I don't think the website calls it part 1, but there's a couple other outlets that have dubbed it part 1, and, like, obviously there's more Halloween to come. But the second you do something like that, it is almost kind of obvious that this is a means to this.
That's true.
Not necessarily its own entity. I still had fun with it, though. I enjoyed a lot of it. Like, one of my favorite parts, I think, is with Dandy and... Dora
the maid, yeah.
That was great.
Holy shit, there is so much tension in that scene, and I can't wait to see what she does.
Yeah.
I was so nervous for her, and then I was like, oh, wait, no, she's got this.
Yeah. And I just love that she's in, like, an outfit, and she's like, stop it. Like,
but does she have it? Because... Isn't Gabourey Sidibe supposed to come on as her daughter?
Yes.
So
Really?
The only reason I feel like that would happen is if maybe he did kill her and then she came to collect her mother's belongings. But
maybe.
I don't know. That's just a total guess there.
Yeah, I mean, it was like the scene between him and the maid. It was great until he sadly ran away. Like, it wasn't even like I was like usually when Dandy kind of like acts all prissy or spoiled, I'm usually like, yeah, I can't wait to see him mutilated in some way. But this time, like, when he lifted up the clown hat and it was like super not scary and sad, and he's like, I hate you, and ran away. I was like, what a sad moment for all these characters. They're like alone and crying all episode.
I'm still curious to see what he's capable of. I feel like they're gonna do a whole switch between him and Twisty. Like, he'll eventually be the next Twisty, and Twisty will be like taken in and loved.
Yeah, I hope so.
Become a nicer guy.
Well, I was just thinking when he was trying to kill the girl in the cage, like, I was like, uh-oh, Twisty's not gonna like that. Like, Twisty wants her alive.
Yeah. If he like missteps and kills his little creatures in the cage, I feel like Twisty's gonna freak out and do something bad.
I kind of want to see that happen. Speaking of looking forward to things, it is rapid fire time, the point in the show when we get to discuss what we're looking forward to most in the episode to come. And I'm just going to go with the obvious thing and say I want to know who Edward Mordrake kills, because I know we were talking about the whole Dell thing, and it makes sense, but also it doesn't make sense because Michael Chiklis is a main cast member, and I feel like there's no way that they're just going to kill him off. And I feel like they're going to go with one of the obvious choices, which would be a supporting character.
Yeah.
And if I had to pick from that pool, I think I'm kind of leaning towards Legless Susie, because it felt like they almost were doing a little bit of a Meep thing here. Like, they let us see her bob for apples and gave us a few close-ups on her. Like, there was a really good one during Meep's funeral, too.
Yes.
I feel like they're just kind of hinting at that. But what I would want to see happen, if they would do it, but again, main character, probably a major no-no, is I'd want to see him take either Bet or Dot. And let one of them get their solo life. Let someone do some creepy surgery. I don't know, but I don't think that's going to happen. That's like American Horror Story Freak Show, like the actual show, like their pride and joy, this two-headed character. So I don't think it's going to happen, but I wouldn't mind seeing it. Ash, do you want to go next?
Me? Oh, yeah. See, I like the Bet and Dot thing because I was trying to figure out what we can see next week with Bet and Dot that would be really, really freaky. And even last week when Elsa gave Bet and Dot the knife, like we were like, what's she gonna do? Like chop her head off? But like even in the like freak show or the freak shop where they can make all their money with Emma Roberts, and I feel like maybe we might get a little bit of organ sort of transplanting type things with Bet and Dot that we can use next week. That would be kind of neat.
They did leave out the organs in episode 1.
Yeah, so that would be kind of nice to happen next week. That would be freaky enough. Maybe Edward Mordrake just has to take a part of the two of them to make them stop living in some way. And I wouldn't mind seeing like a hanging dead little head off of Sarah Paulson. That wouldn't be too bad. That would be great, but I do wonder if Edward Mordrake is going to take... I was thinking that about Legless Susie, too, because I kept on trying to see if she was really legless or not, and then I was like, because I forgot if she was... Oh,
really... have you seen her featurette? It's incredible. I'm telling you, go on American Horror Story's YouTube channel and... I mean, really watch all of the featurettes on the Real Freaks because their stories are absolutely incredible.
Yeah, she's one of the only ones who I hadn't seen, and the Human Torso is like one of my favorite freaks, so I kept on thinking about her and talking about her as we were watching the episode, so I thought the same thing. I was like, it's going to be another Meep, it's just going to be another toss-away character, and she's actually likable because she's like cool, and you know, she's not biting off the heads off animals. So I could see Edward Mordrake taking me, but I also want to see what Twisty's up to because that was the last frame we got is Twisty bringing another toy. But I actually think he's gonna beat the crap out of Dandy because Dandy is just getting on everybody's nerves. So we'll see.
All right, Meg, you want to take this next?
Yeah. I just had a weird thought, and I might be totally out of left field, but I want to put it out there. Have it said. I think eventually there's going to be some kind of retribution, and Mordrake, if it's this episode or way down the road, is going to be the one that gets Dandy because Dandy is the biggest freak of them all. He's human, and he's something wrong with him where he's ripping apart animals and everything, but something's going to go down where he's going to take him. And then back to Twisty, he's bringing that boy back there. Did you notice how he's like shushing, so like the little girl, the little sister, he's almost like protecting her. So... he's almost like a weird-ass father figure in this whole thing. So I think he's trying to protect these kids from something because maybe he thought he was protecting the teenage girl from the boyfriend or something. So he's not trying to hurt him. He's protecting him in his warped, weird way. Yeah. So I want to get back to Twisty.
That makes sense, but I guess this situation would almost be the opposite. It's like he's trying to protect the sister from the brother who's tormenting her. It would have been interesting, I guess, if he had taken the boyfriend the first time. That would have been like an interesting thing to explore.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I do possibly see Mordrake coming back for him, though.
I hope so. Oh, I hope so.
It seems like Twisty is almost making like his own little family. I don't know. We have like a girl who could be a mother figure, a boy, a little boy. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm also looking forward to more of what's going to go on with Emma Roberts and Dennis O'Hare and what their characters are up to. Are they going to get one of the freaks? Who we'll see. Also, the love quadrangle between Bet, Dot, Jimmy, and Emma Roberts. We'll see.
All right, so that is a wrap on Following Freak Show, Episode 3. But be sure to keep an eye out for new installments the day after every episode of American Horror Story Freak Show airs on Collider and also on our YouTube channel, Shock Till You Drop. And we'd also love to know what you're thinking about the show, so feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below, and then maybe we'll discuss your topics on next week's show. So thank you so much for following Freak Show with us, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.